Salute, salute. Can y'all hear me out there, man? Yeah. Can y'all hear me out there? Let me know if y'all can hear me out there, man. You know, we most definitely in the building. This is everything news. Can y'all hear me out there? Yeah, let me go over here real quick. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Yeah, Trump done signed the deal, guys. A peace deal with Uganda. I think that's the name of it. No, Rwanda. And Doctor of Congo leaders, guys, a peace deal. Yeah, he signed a peace deal with them. We got Pam Bundy and Cash Patel, man. You know, they done made a major arrest in a pipe bomb situation, guys. We got updates from Stockton, man. You know what I'm saying? As well as Hakeem Jeffries, guys. Most definitely did a press conference today, man. I hope everybody had a great day. Audio good already. Yeah, let me do this real quick. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let me see. Go over here, do this. Got a couple things I gotta do real quick. Hold on. There we go. Yeah, we most definitely in there, man. But yeah, like I said, man, Trump has signed a peace deal. Who we got in here? What's up, Miss Pooh Bear? What's up, IGT? Say the audio is good. Okay, I bet. Good day, man. Here, IGT mods and everything news peoples. What's up? What's up? We just not getting started, man. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all double tapping that screen. You know, and most definitely subscribe to the channel if you're new. As we get into this whole entire situation, what's up, Gillian? You know, what's up? What's up? How's everyone doing? Hey, what's up with it? We're good. How are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Turu. What's up, man? You know, about to get into it, man. You know, Trump has signed a peace deal with the Congo, basically today, is what I'm seeing so far. We got some things from Pam Bundy and Cash Patel, as well as Hakeem Jeffries. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me turn this down some. You know, I guess let's get into it, man. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you're double tapping that screen. You know, that's how you hit the like button, or you can click the three dots in the right hand corner, hit the thumbs up. That's another way of hitting the like button. It most definitely helps out the channel. So if you are present and you can hear the sound of my voice, make sure you hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new, man. Let's get into a little bit of what Trump, you know, did today, guys. Let's go.
To tell you. So this is a special occasion for a lot of reasons, but number one is it's our first occasion in this building using it for peace, and it's all about peace, and it's a great honor. And Marco, you've done a fantastic job in getting it ready, but it's a spectacular building, and we all appreciate it. And very importantly, we're settling a war that's been going on for decades, with millions and millions of people killed. And these two gentlemen spent a lot of time backstage talking to each other, and over at the Oval Office. We were at the Oval Office together. It was beautiful. And I think it's just a very important day. And we have other leaders from other countries. And you said such beautiful things. I'd love to have you come up. We'll finish up, and then I'd love to have you come up, and if you could issue the words that you just issued backstage. It usually doesn't work, you know. It usually never happens. They said, they said it much better before, but you will probably do better up here. But I'd love to have you say how you felt, because it is an amazing day. Great day for Africa, great day for the world.
Hey, positive vibe.
These two countries, and they have so much to be proud of. And I want to thank the leaders. I want to thank you very much. It means maybe more because we are here together for the first time ever in this building. Brand new, beautiful building. I don't want to tell you how much it costs, because I hear it's a lot. Okay, they don't build inexpensively here, but I just want to thank you very much. So please sit down, everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here. It's a momentous occasion. This truly incredible setting. It's very few places I've seen like this. In this holy season, we prepare to celebrate the birth of the Prince of Peace. We have come to the U.S. Institute of Peace to sign a historic agreement that will end one of the longest running conflicts anywhere in the world, with
Hey,
far
Teresa.
more than 10 million people killed. Today, we commit to stopping decades of violence and bloodshed and to begin a new era of harmony and cooperation between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda. I want to thank the two courageous leaders. They are
Miss
courageous
D.
leaders. They really are courageous leaders, great people. President Tshisekedi of
Oh
the
wow.
Democratic Republic of the Congo and President Kagame of Rwanda. They are amazing people, and they had stories to tell me that were incredible. Really fascinating in so many different ways. Sad and beautiful, both sad and beautiful, and today makes them beautiful. I've just held really fantastic meetings with both men and representatives of other countries where we discussed the importance of upholding this new agreement. Very detailed, powerful agreement. I also want to thank several foreign guests and dignitaries in attendance to celebrate this magnificent event, including the president of Angola. Please, would you stand? And so great to see you. Thank you.
Trump says he has brokered a peace deal, guys, in the Congo.
The president of Burundi. Thank you very much. Great to see you again. The president of Kenya. We have the Olympics here. You know, they do very well in the Olympics, those runners. I don't know what the heck you do with those runners, but they are very good. I've been watching them for a long time. So we have the Olympics coming to the United States. You know that. Thank you very much. And you'll come as our guest. Thank you. And the president of the Council of Ministers of Togo. Thank you. Thank you very much. The vice president of Uganda. Thank you. It's such a beautiful color. Like all these guys are wearing these dark suits. You just stand out for a lot of reasons. You're beautiful. The foreign ministers of Qatar. Thank you. Thank you very much. Say hello to my friend, a great man. And the United Arab Emirates. Thank you. Thank you. My regards, right?
Hey, Joan.
And the chairman of the African Union Commission, who's done a fantastic job. And thank you for all your help. We appreciate all your help. A special group of people. A very special thanks as well to Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Marco, please stand. Thank you. And thank you for putting a certain name in that building. I said, boy, that is beautiful. That blew up last night. They said, that's a great honor. It really is. On this building, it's a great honor. Thank you very much. I assume you had a lot to do with that. Just a little bit. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. And Senior Advisor for Africa, Masad Boulos, who's been fantastic. Thank you, Masad.
Chairman
All
of
of these
African
people, every
Union
one of them
Commission.
were indispensable in forging this agreement. Let me also recognize Senators Mike Rounds and Lindsey Graham. Lindsey, thank you.
If you can hear the sound of my voice, let's take time to double tap that screen, guys. That's how you hit the like button. It helps out the channel. If you're on a mobile device, double tap your screen or click the three dots and hit that thumbs up. It most definitely helps out the channel. Please hit the like button.
Mike, wherever you may be. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Representatives Ronnie Jackson. Where's Ronnie? Ronnie is a great guy. He won his race in Texas by 48 points, right, Ronnie? So I don't have to ask if he's in any. I don't even have to endorse him anymore. It doesn't matter. Save the paper, right? Great job. Chris Smith. Chris. Thank you, Chris. Great. Good job. Trent Kelly. Trent. Thank you very much. Thank you. And the acting president of the Institute for Peace, Darren Beatty. Thank you, Darren, very much. Thank you very much, Darren. For more than 30 years, one of the worst conflicts on earth has been raging in eastern Congo. Millions and millions.
I think they're going to take the stage in a minute. Yeah, I think they're most definitely going to take the stage in a minute.
Millions of people have been tragically killed, went on
Joanne,
forever, and countless more have been displaced from their
with
homes.
the
Families have
Congo.
been destroyed. It's been a disaster. Many administrations have tried, but probably not too hard, knowing who preceded me. But they tried. It says they've tried, but we tried harder to end this conflict. But they've accomplished, obviously, they accomplished very little because the killing went on at levels that just got worse and worse. And today we're succeeding where so many others have failed. And this has become the 8th war that we've ended in less than 1 year. Such an exciting thing to do. This has been a really, because we're talking about 30 years of fighting, 30 years, much more than 10 million lives. Last June, thanks to the efforts of Secretary Rubio and Mr. Boulos, Rwanda and the DRC reached a landmark agreement to move toward peace. They started the process. I met with some of their great representatives who are here also. And we started a great process. The compact we're signing today, which will be known as the Washington Accords, everybody sort of liked that name, formalizes the terms agreed to in June, including a permanent ceasefire, the disarmament of non-state forces, provisions for refugees to return to their homes, and justice and accountability for those
Thank you,
who have
Joanne.
committed illegal atrocities. Very importantly, this agreement also creates a new framework for economic prosperity. There's tremendous wealth in that beautiful earth. It's beautiful earth, but it was stained badly with blood, tremendous amounts of blood. But in the region that will support a lasting peace, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda have agreed to more closely integrate their economies with each other rather than fighting, and they'll be doing that. And these two gentlemen are very smart, and I think they liked each other a lot. I spent time with them. I think they liked some people may be surprised. I really do. I think they've spent a lot of time killing each other, and now they're going to spend a lot of time hugging, holding hands, and taking advantage of the United States of America economically, like every other country does. So they're going to do very well, but they do have some very valuable things. They're going to have a lot of money and a lot of success, and I think they're going to get along really well. So I hope so. Thank you very much. Look at them. Look at the way they love each other. Thank you. So I have a lot of confidence in both leaders. We'll keep these commitments. I know they're going to keep them and follow through on the agreement and create a much brighter future for the people of their countries and their heroes within their countries because of today. This is a big story. And so much is being written and said. All of the newscasts have it at the top of the list. And they are heroes, and we want to keep it that way. Today, the United States is also signing our own bilateral agreements with the Congo and Rwanda that will unlock new opportunities for the United States to access critical minerals and provide economic benefits for everybody. And we'll be involved. We're sending some of our biggest and greatest companies over to the two countries, and we're going to take out some of the rare earth and take out some of the assets and pay, and everybody's going to make a lot of money. These are just two of the many new agreements related to mineral supplies that my administration has achieved this year, including with Australia, Japan, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, South Korea, and many other countries. With all of these agreements, we're forging new economic security partnerships that protect the interests of America and our friends and partners, and a core feature of my administration's national security strategy, a big part of which is the tariffs. We're taking in trillions of dollars in tariffs. Nobody's ever seen anything like it, and it's given us really great national security. We'll be paying down debt. We'll be making distributions to people, and we're really doing a job. It's amazing. I was with a gentleman, the future king of Saudi Arabia, and you've heard me say this a couple of times, but 2 months ago when I was over there, he said, and actually Qatar is represented today, and UAE is represented, and your leader said the exact same thing, different words, but the exact same thing, that 1 year ago they thought our country was dead. And now our country is the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. Nobody's
We
ever
say that every
seen
time. We're the
anything
highest,
like it.
the
We're
hottest country in the
over
world.
$18 trillion. That's just in 10 months. Yeah, pledged or being invested or pledged to be invested in the United States. Think of that, 18 trillion. The highest amount we've ever had is 1.5. Under the Biden administration, they did much less than 1 in 4 years. Think of that. So they did less than 1 trillion in 4 years. We have 18 trillion in 10 months. It's going to be much more than that, too. No other country in history has ever been close, no matter what country you pick. So I want to thank you again, everybody, for your great vision. And I want to thank the people, especially the people that we named. Some of the others that unfortunately we didn't name, we just couldn't do that. But for your vision and for your courage, because it's made it possible to begin healing old wounds and transcending past differences and creating a future where every child of God can live in dignity, prosperity, and peace. And these are two very good men, and they're two potentially very strong countries. I'd like to now invite President Kagame to come up and say a few words. It's Rwanda. And then, if I may, President of DRC, who really is doing a great job. These are two men that are doing a great job. And again, they are so respected because of what they're doing today and the mission that they've really, I think, accomplished. And we'll see how it all works out, but I think it's going to work out really great. They want to get on to other ways of living for their people, and they're great leaders. Thank you very much. Please, Mr. President, thank you. Thank you very much.
Excellency Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, Excellencies, heads of state and government and former heads of state, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin with some words of thanks. First, to my fellow heads of state and government from Africa, your presence here confirms that these efforts enjoy the broad support necessary to succeed. I also thank Minister of State Kulaifi, representing His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad of Qatar. The role of Qatar has been absolutely central in getting us to this point.
Let's take time to double tap that screen, guys. That's how you hit the like button.
Goes to President Donald Trump. No one was asking President Trump to take up this task. Our region is far from the headlines. But when the president saw the opportunity to contribute to peace, he immediately took it. This conflict has lasted for 30 years.
30 years.
Seen countless mediations and efforts, but none has succeeded in resolving the underlying issues. President Trump introduced a new and effective dynamism that created the space for breakthroughs. His approach is even-handed, never taking sides. he orients us toward the future, not the past, emphasizing that the dividend of peace is prosperity and investment, including from the United States. More importantly, President Trump's approach is pragmatic. The process has not become an end in itself. All of these elements filter down to his dedicated team, and here I want to single out Secretary Rubio and Masad Boulos for special appreciation. We would not be here today without their efforts. And as a result, we have the clearest and most viable path forward that we have ever had. These accords provide everything needed to end this conflict once and for all. If this agreement falters and things do not work out as they are supposed to, the responsibility will not lie with President Trump, but with ourselves. It's up to us in Africa, working with our partners to consolidate and expand this peace. There will be ups and downs on the road ahead. There is no doubt about it. Rwanda, I know, will not be found wanting. I can assure you of that. Our only objective is and has always been for our country.
I need 40 more of y'all to double tap that screen, man. Let's get the likes up to 100, guys. We need 40 more of y'all to double tap that screen if you're on a mobile device, or click those three dots in the right-hand corner. Hit that thumbs up. Most definitely subscribe to the channel if you are new.
To be safe and secure after having endured so much tragedy. We now only want to look forward in confident expectation of a prosperous and stable future. Mr. President, Excellencies, I thank you for your kind attention.
Mr. the President of the United States, Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, dear members of the delegations, distinguished guests, as we have just placed our signatures at the bottom of the joint declaration enshrining the Washington agreements for peace and prosperity, I do feel, on behalf of the people of Congo, a deep gratitude and clear hope. First of all, I would like to express quite solemnly our deep thanks to the President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald Trump. I would like to thank his administration, and also wish to thank the American people for the critical role that they played as for the rapprochement, the closening between the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Republic of Rwanda. To these thanks, I also bring in all of our regional partners and our international partners who, thanks to their commitment and engagement, have consistently made this critical moment possible in the road to peace. First and foremost, we have Sheikh Mbadi, we have President João Manuel Lourenço, who is the President of Angola and the acting President of the African Union. And we also have the former President of the Republic of Kenya, my brother, Uhuru Kenyatta, who I see here in the room. These two great Africans who are at the beginning, who started the Rwanda and the Nairobi processes.
Joanne says the man is actually speaking French. We have a translator saying what he's saying. Let's go.
Who contributed to help us in this struggle. And I do hope that we have, yes, reached the end. The Washington agreements are not yet another document. These represent a turning point. They bring together under a coherent architecture a declaration of principles, a peace agreement, and also the regional economic integration framework to provide to the peoples of the region a new perspective, a new outlook, namely to finally overcome the cycle of violence, of forced displacements, of mistrust, defiance, in order to begin a new era of friendship, cooperation, and prosperity, all shared
Hey,
together.
Karen.
For those involved, the Democratic Republic of Congo takes this solemn commitment to implement with complete sincerity all of our obligations that stem from this agreement. We will do this with seriousness, with rigorousness, and also the constant care for peace and the security of our populations, for the unity and the integrity of our territory. We do hope that thanks with the same seriousness that the Republic of Rwanda will also respect fully the letter and the spirit of the commitments made here in Washington. We are reaching out for a peaceful cooperation based on mutual respect, non-interference, and the joint struggle against the armed groups, the end of all support to negative forces, and the beginning of fair prosperity on behalf of our two populations. I do believe this day is the beginning of a new path. A demanding path, yes, indeed, quite difficult, but this is a path where peace will not just be a wish and aspiration, but a turning point. The Democratic Republic of Congo will fully play its part with dignity, with consciousness and consistency, and with the support of our partners. We will remain watchful, vigilant, but not pessimistic. We'll be clear-eyed, but resolutely optimistic. These Washington agreements for peace and prosperity must be for our peoples a symbol of an irreversible commitment to turn the page of confrontations and to open a new era of cooperation and sustainable peace throughout the region. Thank you.
Let's take time to double tap that screen, guys. If you have not hit that like button, double tap the screen. That's how you hit the like button. Or click the three dots in the right-hand corner. Hit that thumbs up, guys.
If I might, my four new friends, a couple of cases not that new. Could you come up, please? Do you mind? Please. They represent so many and so well, so I just want to thank you very much.
Sr. Presidente Donald Trump, Presidente dos Estados Unidos da América, caros convidados, altas entidades aqui presentes, senhores jornalistas, eu gostaria de realçar a importância desta cerimônia aqui em Washington, D.C., que vai finalmente pôr fim a um conflito que, como já foi dito, dura mais de 3 décadas. Não são exatamente 30 anos, mais do que 3 décadas. Um conflito entre irmãos, países vizinhos e irmãos, que deviam se dar bem, mas que, por razões de diversa ordem, têm vindo a se degladiar ao longo dos anos, com pesadas consequências, quer para as populações de ambos os países, como também para as respectivas economias. A região dos Grandes Lagos é uma região das mais ricas do mundo.
What a translator for him. I don't understand a word he's saying.
All right,
I'm just saying. I don't understand none of that.
Is now hosting these two African nations, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, I should say, and some of their leaders there as they're getting ready to sign a peace agreement. And so, as you're seeing here, President Trump did just ask a few more speakers to come up and make some
Joanne say he's speaking Spanish.
All right. Translated at this point, but we do want to hang on to this shot and continue to listen and stay right here with us.
O desenvolvimento de outras regiões igualmente do nosso continente. O mundo atravessa hoje uma crise energética e alimentar.
I don't know, Miss B, but I'm here for it. I don't know what he's saying either.
Essa região dos Grandes
Somebody said Portuguese. I'm American. Speak English. We need a translator.
Não digo de resolver, mas de contribuir consideravelmente para a resolução dessas duas grandes crises, quer alimentar, quer a energética, não apenas para o nosso continente, mas para o mundo. A grande barragem do Inga, adormecida há bastantes anos, pode contribuir enormemente para a eletrificação do continente e, consequentemente, para a sua industrialização. Em termos de agricultura, o facto de ter terras aráveis, um índice de chuvas bastante regular e abundante, pode-se desenvolver agricultura naquelas regiões para alimentar o continente.
I turned on the caption. I don't know if that helped, but it's speaking in English in the caption.
Fazer-se ao longo de décadas, devido a este conflito que não tem sentido e que finalmente e felizmente parece que terá o seu fim hoje aqui em Washington, D.C. Nós procuramos fazer a nossa parte, e quando digo nós, estou-me a referir a Angola, ao Quênia e outros países também africanos. Procuramos fazer o melhor para chegarmos a este momento. Infelizmente, não foi possível.
All right, we are continuing to check in here with the viewers at home as President Trump is hosting these two African nations as they're getting ready to sign this peace agreement. As I said just a little while ago, we're going to hang on to this feed, even though this portion is not in English. But if you are just now joining us here on Live Now from Fox, what we're expecting to see today is President Trump welcoming these leaders there in Washington, D.C. to sign new deals aimed at stabilizing.
Let's go, Richard. Richard said, I think he's saying, I'd like to thank the blonde-haired man behind me for giving us a hand with a couple of issues. Let's go.
Are both expected to pledge their commitment to an economic integration compact that's already been agreed to last month. This, as well as a U.S. brokered peace deal that was reached in June, but has still not been implemented at this time. These countries, though, will sign their agreements on these critical minerals, security, and economic partnerships, according to the White House. And so, as you see there, we're hoping that we'll see the physical signing that's going to be happening at the desk where they are all sitting. This is continuing on. Let's continue to listen.
The U.S. President, President Trump, dear guests, and dear dignitaries present here, and press members. I would like to highlight the importance of this ceremony taking place in Washington, D.C., because this has come to put an end to a war that has been there for more than 3 decades, because it's not just exactly 3 decades, but it's more than 30 years. And this is a conflict that has been there between two neighboring countries, which have been fighting for many years with consequences on the peoples, countries, economies, and so forth. And these consequences also were felt in the Great Lakes region, which is a very rich region in Africa, rich in terms of water resources, arable lands and forests, and as well as mineral resources, which are important for the development of our region. So it's important that we've reached to this point where the agreement is going to be, has been signed, a peace deal, which will benefit immensely the whole region and will unleash the opportunities for the development of our continent, and as well as to helping the whole world in terms of fighting against food crisis and energy crisis, which the whole world is going through now. We believe that the Great Lakes region will have to play a great role in providing resources to the international community. And of course, solving this conflict will also help solve other crises, not only in the continent, as we know, but worldwide. For example, the Great Inga hydro project in Congo is important. It can help to electrify the continent and consequently help in terms of developing agriculture and providing agriculture, arable lands, and abundant resources that we have that can be used. We know that Africa possesses a lot of other resources, such as rainfalls, which are important for agriculture. So nothing has nothing would just justify this war, but eventually the most important thing that it has come to war. We sought as Africans to do our part. When I say Africans, I mentioned countries such as Angola, Kenya, and other African countries, but unfortunately we couldn't make it. But we now want to thank President Donald Trump for having helped to reach this important milestone. We believe, once again, we have to thank him for what he has done. And what comes next now is to appeal to the two parties, that is the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda, to implement successfully this agreement for the benefit of their countries, their people, and including our continent of Africa. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, President Trump, fellow heads of state, today's signing of the Washington Peace Accord for Eastern DRC is not merely a monumental diplomatic milestone. It is a decisive act to end a devastating conflict that has scarred the region for decades. Mr. President, what you have achieved is not only transformative, it is consequential and historic. This conflict has destroyed livelihoods, destabilized our region, and threatened the future of the entire Great Lakes African continent. Today's achievement culminates a relentless regional effort anchored by the foundational work of the East African Community and SADC, and today, this Washington process. The coordinated Nairobi, Luanda, and Washington process has created the essential pathway that brings us to this pivotal moment. We would like to extend our gratitude to President Tshisekedi and President Kagame for their leadership during this process. Reaching this point was made possible by the unparalleled consequential convening power of the United States and President Trump's resolute and focused commitment to global peace. Your clarity, Mr. President, of purpose and ability to rally stakeholders together has brought us to this point. We therefore extend our profound gratitude to President Trump, whose bold leadership has been instrumental in delivering this breakthrough. Our presence here, Mr. President, as regional leaders, is a testament of our collective resolve. We will spare no effort to ensure this agreement is fully realized, mobilizing every resource and partner to secure peace and unlock the region's immense economic promise. The protracted conflict on our continent continues to hold back Africa. Our current 3% share of global trade is stark evidence of how far this war has held us back. A peaceful Eastern DRC can unlock one of Africa's greatest economic opportunities. Our vast resources, the young talent that we have, connected through our regional infrastructure and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, can ignite an unprecedented transformation. A peaceful and integrated Great Lakes region will accelerate innovation, predictable government reduces risk, harmonized regulation lowers costs, and open borders increase trade, attracting value-added industries to our continent. For too long, Africa has exported raw materials only to import refined products at great cost. Our regional economic integration framework, Mr. President, that you have spoken to here, will build value chains in minerals, manufacturing, and agri-processing, creating jobs and creating wealth. The Great Lakes region stands at the threshold of a new era. Peace will open doors, integration will guide us, and private sector dynamism will propel us forward. In conclusion, as we celebrate progress in the DRC, we must not look away from other crises. I want to ask you respectfully, Mr. President, that in your quest for global peace, to support efforts to resolve the humanitarian catastrophe in Sudan. I thank you.
Excellence, le chef d'État et de gouvernement ici présent.
Heads of state and government, dear delegations, it is with great joy that I speak today before you in order to express my joy. There is a time for everything. There's a time for destruction, and there's a time to build. There's a time for despair, and there's a time for hope. Today, we are experiencing a great day. We are looking forward to this agreement, which will give back hope to the peoples of Congo and of the sub-region. I would like to congratulate everybody involved who made it this great day possible. We urge God to continue to guide us, to guide the steps of all people of goodwill who will become involved for its implementation. Committing oneself is something, but implementing is something else, which is why I call upon all of you, provide your contribution to actually implement this accord. As far as we are concerned, this agreement on regional economic integration. Well, Burundi and the DRC already represent an economic community of the countries of the Great Lakes region. Burundi has a major role to play in order to indeed implement these existing cooperation agreements between the three states. We hope that together we'll be able to achieve a long-lasting peace and stability throughout the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I just want to introduce a friend of mine who I just noticed in the audience. He's in charge of a very small sport called here soccer, over there football. So nobody knows really what to call it. Johnny, thank you very much. The head of FIFA is here. And I can report to you that we have sold more tickets than any country anywhere in the world at this stage of the game, and I think we probably broke all records before.
Hey guys, if you haven't took time to double tap that screen, please do so now, or click those three dots, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. President Trump says that he has basically signed a peace deal with the Congo and Rwanda. You know, I'm just saying.
If it get close, and you have a big event on Friday at the Trump Kennedy Center. Oh, excuse me, at the Kennedy Center. Pardon me, I such a terrible mistake, Marco. At the Kennedy Center, and I look forward to seeing you there. But I want to congratulate you. No, it's really taken the world by storm. You've never done anything like what's happening in terms of ticket sales. I'm making a lot of enemies telling people, I'm sorry, I can't get you tickets. I just can't do it. But congratulations, you've done a fantastic job. A great leader in sports and a great gentleman. Thank you very much, John. And now we're going to sign a very important agreement. Thank you.
All right, now it's the signing, guys. Joanne says African leaders should have contributed to making peace. Where are the other African presidents? I don't know. They just got these ones on display, Joanne. These are the ones that they're showing. Featherbrain, oh my goodness. Never mind that one. Trump is the GOAT. Okay. Bring on Auto Pen. All right, they should be there signing too. Absolutely, but he most definitely they're not. You know, just those two right there that we see on the screen are the ones that are signing. MAGA peace train. They say it's a peace train, guys. What y'all think about that? FBA frontline Africans go home. Wow. Y'all really don't know. This won't last. It's prophecy happening right before our eyes. Okay. All right. Well, as of right now, they're most definitely getting it done. I don't know how long it'll last, but it's happening right now. Our President Trump just keeps winning for the world. Okay. Joanne say 56 African countries in the continent. Okay. All right. The United States of America will decide which African leaders will be on that stage. So apparently they saying they must have didn't want the other ones there, allegedly. That's all I'm saying. Somebody put Orange Clown. Wow. Well, they are most definitely signing the paperwork, you know, to make this official, guys. Yeah, Gregory. Oh man, Gregory, calm down, man. Lefties nonstop hurt feelings. Okay, Trump respects other people and cultures, and he gives them deals instead of wars. No other politician did this ever. Okay, chicken wings with Frank's sauce. Oh my goodness, I don't know what you got going. Our President Trump just keeps winning for the world. Is this our reparations? Somebody said the man in the middle is an evil man. MAGA will use inbreeding to create a race of mutant. Oh my goodness. Allegedly, global politics is how like high school in America is popular, wealthy kid who drives a Porsche to school. Everyone wants to be our friends, but we can choose who we want to be friends with. Can't knock Trump. Okay, his world. He's the man. He wants the Nobel Peace Prize so bad.
Go ahead. I know you and you're very friendly, so I'll take it. Otherwise, I wouldn't take it. Go ahead.
Mr. President, we are witnessing a historic moment for Africa. My question to you is when we will see the withdrawal of Rwanda's troops from DRC and when we will see the real peace, because even now we are witnessing historical peace deal, but people are being still killed in DRC because the troops continue there. Because this needs to be real, the troop needs to withdraw from DRC. When will we see the withdrawal?
I think you're going to see very quickly, I think you're going to see things happen. This is something that was not doable, according to a lot of people, and not only is it doable, I think it's going to be a great miracle. These two gentlemen are leaders, they're great leaders, and they're going to prove that in the coming months and years. And I think you're going to see very immediate results. I have confidence that that's what's going to happen. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, so Trump says he has got Africa basically to sign a peace deal, guys. All right, so we got that. We watched the whole thing. We seen, whether you like it, don't like it, it most definitely happened, guys. All right, so to other news, we got Pam Bundy and Cash Patel, guys, who said they have made an arrest in I think it's a 2020. It was on January 6, 2021, the United States Capitol, Washington, D.C. was attacked by mob supporters, President Trump, an attempt. No, this is something about a D.C. pipe bomb case, guys. Let's go here. They most definitely made an arrest and basically did a press conference about it, but I want to bring y'all into what exactly this press conference is going to be about, the situation that took place. Let's go here. All right, so this is what took place, and this is what they did, a press conference, which I'm going to show y'all in a second about, guys, about making this arrest. Brian Cole Jr. of Woodbridge, Virginia, was arrested.
Brian Cole Jr. of Woodbridge, Virginia. Take a look at this. These are live pictures of law enforcement searching the suspect's home. The arrest follows an almost 5-year probe to identify the suspect, who has only been seen in grainy surveillance video, shrouded in a hoodie, gloves, and face mask. Joining us now, the former Deputy FBI Director and CNN Senior Law Enforcement Analyst, Andrew McCabe. Andrew, thanks so much for joining us. What do you think the significance of this is, and what could have led to the arrest?
Well, it's hugely significant, Wolf. It was a major attempted violent act on the nation's capital and seemed to be at least circumstantially timed with an attack on the Capitol to stop the certification of the election. So when you put all these things together, this is a major crime that the FBI needed to solve. They did, I think, an incredible job by finding this person. It's not easy to find one person in a nation of 330 million. But the FBI did what they do best. They stayed on this task and continued to.
Great question, Truth. Great question, Truth. It makes you wonder, don't it? He says, bomber arrest. How is it Trump's FBI found the bomber, but for 4 years, Biden's FBI couldn't? I don't know. Great question, man. Great question. They find Trump FBI find everybody within days. I'm just saying.
What was the lead that broke this open? We don't know that yet. Hopefully we'll learn more as the day goes on. But it was likely as a result of some constant going back to the file, constantly going back to the information they had and looking at that information in new ways. That can usually trigger some new leads, and fresh perspective on an old set of facts can often sometimes lead to the breaking open a case like that.
As you know, Andrew, some 5 years ago, law enforcement released a lot of the video of the suspect walking around Capitol Hill especially near the Democratic National Committee headquarters, the Republican National Committee headquarters. Why did it take so long to ID the suspect and make this arrest?
As you know, Wolf, video capture has become one of the primary tools of law enforcement. We refer to it as kind of crowdsourcing the identification of someone we need to stop. In this case, however, they had a lot of things working against them. You can see from the video, because of the time of year it was, he was dressed in very kind of amorphous, bulky clothing. He was wearing a face mask and a hood. The face mask, of course, that was typical at the time during in the aftermath of the COVID pandemic. So the video, even though we had a video of the person, the video didn't include the sort of details that biometric software uses to identify people from photographs or videos. Those sorts of precise measurements about his face or his standing were, I think, probably hard for investigators, not available from this sort of very grainy, not too detailed video.
What do you expect the FBI is now doing with this person in custody? And what kind of charges do you anticipate will be filed eventually in this case?
Well, absolutely, Wolf. What they do at this point, this person is taken back to the FBI office and processed. That's basically sitting down with them and asking them basic questions about who they are, where they live, that sort of thing. Then they'll also make an effort to try to get this person to cooperate. If he's willing to waive his right.
So they found a dude that had on a hoodie, a mask, gloves, all type of stuff. And the FBI still managed to track him down. Ain't that amazing, guys? Y'all think they got the right person? Or they could have the wrong person. I don't know. Because the man had on a mask, a hoodie, and gloves, and they still found him. It took them 5 years, but they most definitely found him, according to them.
Attorney, then he can sign a form indicating that, and he can speak to the investigators, and he can share with them what he did and why he did it, if he's inclined to do that. Many people do. It seems crazy, but the FBI has a lot of success with that. If he does not cooperate, the FBI needs to build this case based on forensic evidence.
Oh, he had a funny walk. Yeah, and he had a funny walk. Okay.
Video outside his residence. Exactly what they're doing. They're going to pour through every inch of that house, and they're going to try to find anything they can to connect him to the actual devices that were recovered from the scene. We had two, one at the RNC and one at the DNC, and it's the forensics that ties him to those devices that will be the backbone of this case.
And because of the Miranda rights, he has a right to remain silent if that's what he decides to do. Andrew McCabe, thanks very much for your analysis.
You're now looking at live pictures from Woodbridge, Virginia, where it looks like investigators are not just searching the home, but the car of the man that they say planted pipe bombs outside of the DNC and RNC headquarters the night before the January 6th insurrection.
Wow.
Sources tell CNN the suspect was arrested today. It is, of course, almost 5 years later. I want to now bring in CNN's Evan Perez, who's at the Justice Department, where we expect the FBI director and the Attorney General to give an update later this afternoon. Also joining us, former Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis. Evan, I want to start with you. What are you hearing from your sources about how this went down?
Well, this arrest was made earlier today. And Dana, this is a case, obviously, that has really bedeviled the FBI. They've spent the last few years doing a lot of interviews, or hundreds of interviews. They have gone through tens of thousands of video clips. A lot of it, the problem with this investigation has been the grainy video, the surveillance video that you have shown there on our air. These are the clips the FBI has released trying to get people to call in tips. And really nothing worked until they brought in a new team earlier this year. And that's what led them to the arrest this morning of Brian Cole Jr. He's 30 years old in Woodbridge, Virginia. And the arrest happened, again, at the end of a long, tedious process. But this new team looked at some of the evidence that had been gathered over the years and developed some new leads, essentially, that led them to this point, Dana.
Real quick, Evan, staying with you, was it just fresh eyes from this?
Now, y'all see this grainy footage. They say something about his walk and basically DNA basically tying him to this situation. But if you'll look, He got a mask on. He got on a hoodie. You know, I think he even got on gloves. How they was able to find out who this guy actually is just really blows my mind. It says January 5th, 2021 is when this took place, right before the January 6th incident at the Capitol, guys. This is crazy. They found him, though. However they did it, you know, from some grainy footage of a man walking with a gray hoodie on, a mask, you know, some gloves, carrying something. They managed to find this guy. It took them 5 years, like I said, but they found him. Spectacular.
New team, was it AI, or do we not know yet?
Well, we know that it has to do with this new team that were brought in from elsewhere in the FBI. I'm told that there was an agent from the ATF that joined them as well. And really, it was just more new, fresh eyes, because, again, the teams that have been looking at this over the last few years had really been at sort of a dead end. It was almost like they were looking at a cold case, which is extraordinary if you think about this, right? This is a thing that happened just a couple blocks away from the Capitol. When it happened, if you remember, Dana, it drew police away from the Capitol complex, which is why there's been so many conspiracies about whether or not the two things were linked and whether that was an intentional. We're going to hear a lot more about the suspect and about the charges that we anticipate in the next couple of hours from the Justice Department.
It's so fascinating, Commissioner Davis. It certainly seemed like a cold case, but it turns out they were working really, really hard for all
It was a cold case for 4 years.
That's true, Dana. If you look at the definition of a cold case, it's over 1 to 3 years old, and it is reinvigorated after all the leads have been run down. So I don't know if this technically defines a cold case, but it certainly is a case that the FBI has spent a lot of time on and a lot of dedication. And I cannot underestimate the importance of putting fresh eyes on a case like this. This is what led to the apprehension of Whitey Bulger here in Boston many years ago. Rick Delorier from the FBI resurrected the case, had new people look at it, and all of a sudden he was in custody. On this one, the video evidence is important, and it's usually the first place that you look. But also cell phone tower dumps are extremely important. And there can be thousands of pieces of data that need to be gone through from different locations in the city in the comparison of those things. And the other thing I'd like to say is that a lot of times these cases are
Yeah, this dude most definitely had gloves on as well. I can see it clear from my end. You know, he got on a gray hoodie, a mask, and gloves, carrying a backpack or a trash bag. You know, most definitely amazes me how they were able to find this guy. Just, you know, the footage ain't really that good. He got on the mask, he got on gloves. However they did it, man, it's really amazing. Like, wow, you know, just wow. Yeah, you would think that somebody this cautious wouldn't leave anything behind, but hey, you never know. But they're saying after 5 years of investigating, they have got their man. I'm just saying.
Because someone says something, you know, an estranged spouse or someone who was advised by the suspect that they were involved in it comes around years later, and sometimes just shaking the tree helps.
Libra say you can't see nothing.
For our viewers who don't remember, you were leading the Boston Police Department during the tragic marathon bombing, and that manhunt lasted just 5 days. This, again, is nearly 5 years. Totally different situations, totally different everything. But it kind of...
we most definitely need to get these likes up. Let's double tap that screen, guys. Click those 3 dots, hit the thumbs up, or simply double tap the screen of your mobile device if you have not. We most definitely haven't asked you for not $1. All I do is ask that you hit that like button. It helps out the channel. No reason why we should have so many people in the building and not enough likes. Let's double tap that screen, guys, if you're on the mobile device. Let's get the likes up past 200. We're really supposed to be about 500-600 likes. We only at 175. Let's get those likes up, guys. Double tap the screen of your mobile device or click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up. It helps out the channel, guys, as I bring y'all the latest and breaking in the news, man. Let's get the likes up. We at 183. Continue to double tap that screen, guys, until we're up past 200. That means we need 17 more of y'all to double tap that screen. out of 500 people. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? Let's get those likes up, guys. Double tap that screen or click those 3 dots, hit that thumbs up. It most definitely helps out the channel, guys. Most definitely keeps YouTube recommending the video to different people, you know, so let's get those likes all the way up if you don't mind. We need 6 more likes, guys. We need 6 more likes. Talk, earn it. Les, you don't tell me what to do. Let's get Les right up out of here. We're going to save the best for less and get you right up out of here. Don't tell me to earn nothing. You earn it. I am earning it. I'm bringing it to you. You over here. Therefore, I'm earning it. Let's deport Les. We're going to get him right up out of here. Let's get Les right up out of here on the nearest rocket ship into the stratosphere. Yeah, and hope it blows up with Les off in it. Yeah, because we ain't got time to be arguing with you talking about some earn it. You earn it. You earned you a free trip on a rocket ship. Congratulations. You just got deported. We'll holler at you.
Gives a little context or perspective into what we're seeing now.
Right, and it's all dependent on the quality of the evidence. We had very high quality photos that were easy to identify. That's not the case in this particular situation. And I know that they've looked at the shoe evidence, what types of footwear the suspect was wearing, how he or she walked, all sorts of sort of peripheral things that in a desperate attempt really to try to put the case together. So it wasn't for lack of trying that it's 5 years out. And 5 days is not a comment on the quality of the investigation. It's it's the quality of the evidence that we're able to get our hands on quickly.
Okay, makes sense. Totally understood. Evan, thank you for your amazing reporting always.
All right, so that was the backstory, kind of how we got to where we're at, you know. And now for the official press conference that Pam Bundy and Cash Patel put on, detailing, I guess, how they found this person that they are saying is responsible for that pipe bombing, guys. Let's get those likes up. Most definitely double tap that screen or click the 3 dots, hit the thumbs up, and most definitely subscribe to the channel if you're new. This is everything we know on the situation with the pipe bombing suspect being captured, guys. Let's go.
Attorney General Pam Bondi talking about the suspect that was taken in custody for the January 6th pipe bombing or planting of pipe bombs near the DNC and RNC. Let's take a listen.
And successfully, we know that there are so many issues when you're issuing search warrants. Dangerous things can happen, and this was carried out safely and securely thanks to all of the people standing around me. They have worked tirelessly on this. Today's arrest happened because the Trump administration has made this case a priority. The total lack of movement on this case in our nation's capital undermined the public trust of our enforcement agencies. This cold case languished for 4 years until Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino came to the—
What be going on with Cash Patel eyes? Boy, he keep his eyes wide open. I'm talking about big eyes self. Cash Patel got some of the biggest eyes I ever seen.
FBI. The FBI, along with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our prosecutors, have worked tirelessly for months, sifting through evidence that had been sitting at the FBI with the Biden administration for 4 long years. Let me be clear, there was no new tip, there was no new witness, just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work, working as a team along with ATF, Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and of course, the FBI. We are working every day to restore the public's trust. We hope that today is a significant step towards that progress. We'll share more information when we can and when it unfolds. I cannot stress enough how hard Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino have worked for months to make our nation's capital safer and to make our country safer. I'd like to introduce now Director Patel.
Thank you, General. When you attack American citizens, when you attack our institutions of legislation, when you attack our nation's capital, you attack the very being of our way of life. And this FBI and this Department of Justice stand here to tell you that we will always refute it and combat it. We will provide the safest country the nation has ever seen under President Trump's leadership here. And that's what we did here today with great resolve on a case of massive public importance, as it should be. An individual who is now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple people and multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women of the FBI and the interagency. I want to take a moment to thank the Metropolitan Police Department, the United States Capitol Police, our brave prosecutors, the Department of Justice, and our leader, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, whose relentless work on this case made this possible. As the Attorney General said, we did not discover any new information. What we did, an investigation spearheaded by the Deputy Director and the ADIC of our Washington field office, brought in a new team of investigators and experts, re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do. As a result of that, we generated numerous investigative leads, executed multiple legal process with our U.S. attorney partners, and came to this conclusion today. And that is why we were able to safely secure this individual into custody. Remember, we are dealing with an individual who is alleged to have made bombs. We cannot do this sort of takedown in haste because it endangers the lives of law enforcement. And this FBI will never allow the lives of law enforcement and our prosecutors to be put in jeopardy. This execution was flawless in terms of teamwork, resilience, and just a good old-fashioned way of...
Just a good old-fashioned question. How many of y'all think they got the right person? I'm just saying. I keep saying that for a reason. The man had on a gray hoodie, a mask, and gloves, and 5-year advantage on him, and they still wind up finding him, even though there was grainy footage. I seen some people saying, hey man, they just setting somebody up or something like that. Do y'all think that, or do y'all think they actually got the right person? It's just a question. I'm not saying they don't got the right person. I'm just asking, this is crazy. After 5 years, they find somebody that they haven't been able to find for 4 years, and then on top of that, he had on a mask. He had on gloves. I mean, I'm just saying, just let me know in the comments section. I'm watching. And most definitely double tap that screen if you have not. That's how you hit that like button. Or you can click the 3 dots in the right-hand corner and hit the thumbs up. Also, make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're new.
Police getting the job done. When you let good cops be cops, this is what happens. I'm eternally grateful to the team behind me, to the leadership at the FBI who made this possible. But I do want to highlight, when I introduced the deputy, he made this case and so many others, including Summer Heat, his priority to come in here and solve it for the American people. And today, I'm proud to stand here before you and say, we solved it. He will have his day in court. The American public and the world will learn even more information through the legal process, as we have committed under this Attorney General. We are the most transparent law enforcement operation in U.S. history, but we are also going to make sure accountability is delivered to its fullest extent. And that happens in the courts of law with our U.S. attorneys and our prosecutors. So we will divulge information when it is prudent and constitutionally permissible, while upholding the safeguards of this case to make sure that the people that this individual intended to victimize get the accountability they deserve, and most importantly, to deliver on President Trump's promise to secure our nation's capital and the rest of the cities in this country, to make sure that Americans are allowed to go out free and securely in their neighborhoods, and that people around the world are allowed to visit our nation's capital. And they now have that trust thanks to the leadership of the FBI, the Washington field office. And I'm honored now to introduce to you Deputy Director Bongino, who spearheaded this investigation.
Thank you all for being here for this critical investigation we've been working on for a very long time. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words, Attorney General and Director. I appreciate it. Folks, this is what it's like when you work for a president who tells you to go get the bad guys and stop focusing on other extraneous things not related to law enforcement. This is what happens. We had a great team. I know it's said a lot in this business. It was a team effort. It becomes cliche, but cliches are useful for a reason because they matter. And this was a team effort. The director and the attorney general emphasized that it was not a new public tip this was our internal work at the FBI. And I want to just really express my sincere gratitude to this attorney general and this president for allowing us.
Now look at the footage that they got, guys. All grainy, once again. But hey, man, shout out to the FBI. They was able to get their man something. This is incredible. I see a lot of y'all saying that for the last 4 years, nobody was really looking. I guess that could be true too. I guess it could be true too, but this is crazy work, man. They managed to find a suspect that had on a gray hoodie, a black mask, and black gloves. Just caught him, boom, after 5 years.
The latitude. I spoke with Ms. Bondi very early when we, maybe day 2, and I said, we're going to get this guy. And she said, yes, you are. And we did. I want to also thank, he's not here, but Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who we deal with often as well, who could not have been more supportive. Whatever process we need, Judge Janine, Todd, and Attorney General Bondi, they were there. All you had to do, they were a phone call away. And their team was amazing. We actually never had to make that phone call because they were always responsive. Thank you, Judge, as well. You were amazing. Folks, you're not going to walk into our capital city, put down 2 explosive devices, and walk off in the sunset. Not going to happen. We were going to track this person to the end of the earth. There was no way he was getting away. Well, we didn't have to track him to the end of the earth. It wound up in Woodbridge, Virginia. I want to thank the team. They were amazing. They never let this go. Attorney General Bondi, for your incredible support. Director Patel, Judge, I know they're giving me a lot of unnecessary credit, but make no mistake, they were intimately involved in this and were there for all of those supportive mechanisms, and I deeply appreciate it. The man whose team did the work is the Assistant Director in charge of our Washington field office, Darren Cox. Darren's got some comments, and Darren has some more details on the case he can provide. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Darren Cox. I'm the Assistant Director in charge of the Washington field office. Today's arrest of the alleged DC pipe bomber is a momentous day for the American public, for the FBI, for our Joint Terrorism Task Force, or the JTTF, and our partners, the U.S. Capitol Police, Metropolitan Police Department, and ATF. We've also had a large number of other federal, state, and local departments that have worked on this investigation. And last but not least, the U.S. Attorney's Office. We all worked hand in hand to solve this investigation. This has been a long week in D.C. After the terrorist attack last week, the grit and determination of the FBI and our law enforcement partners is an example to the American public of what cooperation, partnership, and selfless service can accomplish. The amount of effort the FBI and our partners devoted to identifying the pipe bomber cannot be overstated. It is the resolve and determination of our investigators that ultimately led to the identification and the arrest of this suspect. We all know pipe bombs are dangerous, not because of the potential loss of life, damage to property, or injury that they can cause, but also because they are tools that terrorize our community. Fortunately, these bombs did not explode, although they certainly could have. But make no mistake, the alleged pipe bomber did terrorize our community. Today's actions underscore the long memory and the long reach of the FBI and our partners. I know some people had given up on finding the perpetrator, but not the FBI and not our partners. We do not forget, we do not give up, and we do not relent. Though it had been nearly 5 years, our team continued to churn through massive amounts of data and tips that we used to identify this suspect. I want to thank Director Patel and Deputy Director Bongino for their leadership and for providing us the resources and the personnel to reevaluate all of the data that we had. We dove into more than 3 million lines of data to come up with this suspect. Director Patel, Deputy Director Bongino, thank you for your support. Thank you for your passion. And thank you for your investment in this investigation. From me, on behalf of the investigators, the Washington Field Office, and all of our partners, thank you. I'd also like to thank Judge Pirro. Judge, your team and you are absolutely amazing. You're the type of prosecutors and U.S. attorney that all of the investigators across the country want to work with. They're hard-nosed and they're aggressive. Thank you for that. I'd also like to thank the American public for providing tips and leads, not just on this case, but every day on cases across the country that are being solved by law enforcement. And finally, I want to commend all of the members of the Washington Field Office, and most specifically, the investigative team. Their diligence and persistence led to this arrest today, and they are absolutely, totally dedicated not only to this case, but every case they work. So thank you, Washington Field Office. Last, I will say our work is not done. The FBI will continue to pursue every lead and use every resource that we have to ensure that the DC pipe bomber is brought to justice. Thank you.
You keep hearing the words partnership and team, and that's what we are. And we could not do this without our U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro. Jeanine, from day one, has worked tirelessly for our country and for our nation's capital. It's my honor to introduce my friend, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro.
Thank you very much, Attorney General. And you have been listening to a lot of thank yous and a lot of gratitude. The reason that we're thanking each other to the extent that we are today is because we have seen in this case an incredible collaboration around the clock, in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter. We call each other, we make contact, they need a warrant, they need something, someone wants legal advice. These are the men and women who never give it up. You hear about government employees, but I don't know if you really realize what it is that they do. They are incredible, and this case is big. 4 years, 10 months, and 28 days ago, an individual placed a bomb in the vicinity of both the RNC and the DNC. And for that amount of time, that individual evaded accountability. Today, as a result of the cumulative efforts of the men and women in the FBI and the police department and the Department of Justice, we are finally able to make an arrest of an individual by the name of Brian Cole. As the Attorney General has indicated, he is arrested for transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce, as well as the attempted malicious destruction by means of explosive materials. You know, folks, this case involved millions of pieces of data. And it is a huge win because it was like finding a needle in a haystack. So much of this evidence was very specific, but a lot of it was also very general. For example, there were 233,000 black end caps of the type that were used in this case. I want you to think about the fact that the FBI had to go through the sale of every one of them to try to find commonality with an individual, along with the purchase of the pipe itself, the cap ends, the wires, the steel, and the 9-volt batteries. Every one of those had to be mined and remined to the point where we were able to then connect. And make no mistake, it was this administration, it was this president who made the decision that we were going to use all of our efforts to get it done, and get it done they did. Finally, let me say this. Today begins the formal process of accountability, where this defendant will begin his journey through the criminal justice system. And I pledge to you that the United States Attorney's Office will take this case across the finish line. Again, thank you to the incredible work of the FBI, to the Attorney General, and to our local partners as well. This is a job that I think was well done.
Thank you. President Trump's directive to all of us was to not only make America safe again, but DC, and to make it safe and beautiful. We could not have done that without our partnership with Mayor Bowser and Chief Smith. It is my honor to introduce Metropolitan Police Department Chief Smith.
Good afternoon, and thank you, everyone. I am Chief Pamela Smith, Chief of Police of the Metropolitan Police Department. Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, and FBI Director Patel for having me here today. For nearly 5 years, the agencies standing here today have worked together under the leadership of the FBI to locate our suspect who is responsible for the 2 pipe bombs that were placed around our city. MPD members assigned to the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force have supported this case from the beginning. That supports include looking, reviewing, and going through countless, probably thousands of hours of CCTV footage from around the DNC and RNC headquarters, and they followed up on hundreds and thousands of leads from members of our communities. What I will say today is that Washingtonians can rest easier today knowing that the suspect responsible for this act is now in custody. This morning's arrest is yet another reminder that committing any act with the intention of harming the residents and visitors of the District of Columbia will result in your arrest. The men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department, the FBI,
we're absolutely live, Derek,
the U.S. Capitol Police, and certainly the prosecutors at our U.S. Attorney's Office will go to the furthest length. I heard somebody say to the end of the earth, but thank God we didn't have to go to the end of the earth today, that we were able to bring this subject into custody. I want to commend the men and women of the FBI and the members of the Metropolitan Police Department and all of the agencies who are standing behind me today on a job well done. I will turn it over now to Attorney General Bondi.
We're going to take some questions. Just remember, as I said in the beginning, this is ongoing. It's very active. The search warrants are still being executed. Many charges potentially to come.
This is real.
So just keep that in mind when asking your questions.
Jake, Fox News. So you said it had been nearly 5 years. We all know that. And that you said there have been no new evidence. So can you say anything about the evidence that actually did lead to this arrest? And then secondarily, you're talking about additional charges possibly. Can you say what those you might be considering, or terrorism charges, or what?
We can't discuss new charges, of course, yet ongoing. But what I will say is this is why this was so incredibly important. More than any other case, this is in our nation's capital where this happened. And now, thanks to the FBI, we know that this defendant was living just miles away from here in Virginia. So as to the evidence in the case, I'm going to let Director Patel take that, but it's still very active and very ongoing.
All right, we got some information in. It says, according to affidavit, cell phone provider records show that Cole's phone was located in the vicinity of the DNC and RNC headquarters on January 5th, 2021, when the person who planted the bombs was on the footage. Okay, I bet. Let's go.
Going.
Thank you, General. And as I stated earlier, and as the General has already reiterated, our job is to provide full accountability in the court of law with Judge Pirro's team. And in order to do that, we have to preserve the chain of custody and evidentiary value. What I will say generally is that when you go through 3 million lines of information, y'all can think about the amount of cell phone data that has to be ingested and triangulated and dumped and received. You also have to think of just sheer human ingenuity. We brought in a team of experts who are the best at what they do in their specific fields to reevaluate that evidence, to dive back in, and to not come back with a no for an answer until they had found the suspect. And when you develop evidence, you get a search warrant. And when you get a search warrant, you get an address. And when you get an address, you hit the house. And that's what we did.
Sadie, Wall Street Journal.
Hi there.
So what can you tell us about this person's motivations and whether they were driven by politics or for any other reason why?
Right now, it's ongoing. Again, we just executed the search warrant early this morning. It's ongoing, but America is safer, DC is safer because he's in custody.
Mary Margaret Daily Wire.
Thank you so much. So, any theory on why Kamala Harris has never mentioned coming within 20 feet of being assassinated, and any news on why her Secret Service team took so long to find this bomb at the DNC?
No, but what I will
Hold
tell
on real
you
quick.
is
Hold on, y'all. We got somebody here. Hold on. Let's go up here where he at. Where is the unlike button? It's on the rocket ship that you're riding on, right up out of this chat. We'll holler at you. Let's deport Drop Star. Let's get him dropped right out of this chat. You know what I'm saying? He's going on a trip in his favorite rocket ship right up out of here. Congratulations, Dope Star. You just got deported. We'll holler at you.
that evidence has been sitting there collecting dust. This wasn't a new tip. It wasn't some new evidence. It was the hard work of President Trump's administration, Deputy Director Bongino and Director Patel. I watched them from day one come in here and say, we are going to solve this crime. And they did, working hand in hand with U.S. Attorney Pirro and all of our great attorneys.
Pierre, ABC.
General Bondi, Director Patel, or Deputy Director Bongino, can you describe, was there a particular moment where the evidence is coming in and it's starting to look like progress is being made? What was the moment that you knew that you were on the road to solving the case? If anyone could take that.
Dan, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. I was smiling at you because I certainly remember the moment. Darren remembers it too. He said, "Are you sitting down?" Called me on the phone. I said, "Oh boy, why? Is this bad news?" And he said, "I think we got him." What exactly that tip was, we're going to have to pass on that for right now while we're still, obviously we're in the prologue of a long book. This is just the beginning. This is not the end of the investigation, as you all well know, having reported on these for a long time. There's interviews to be conducted. The search warrant processing scene is not even done. So we're at the early stages. So that's the only reason I hesitate to tell you what the exact tip was. But yes, that was absolutely the moment. And it was due to the diligent and incredible work of a team in the Washington field office that came in and just scoured through this over and over and over and over again.
In general, was it forensic? Was it a phone call? Was it something about a vehicle?
We'll just leave it generally forensic evidence. Yeah, it's fair enough to say.
Excuse me, how long ago that was?
I'd rather not say because of the ongoing interview process, and I don't want to
say one thing?
Yeah.
I just want to add something to tell you how thorough.
They say that Cole's car was also spotted by a license plate reader less than a half a mile from where the person was seen on the footage. So they got evidence of Cole. You know, Cole. Dang, that's crazy. They got his license plate. As careful as he was to disguise himself, he didn't think about the cameras that be everywhere. You know, they basically caught his license plate, and then they followed up on it. You know, when it raided his house and found things that were consistent with what it took to build that pipe bomb. That's crazy.
This team was that moment that was kind of like the aha moment. That wasn't the end. This team continued to work and work and work to get every bit of evidence that we could get. We didn't stop at that moment. And that's a testament to the fact that the team wanted every possible piece of evidence that they could gather.
One more? One more, Kelly O'Donnell, NBC.
Thank you so much. Have you recovered the notable sneakers? Have you done surveillance of this suspect?
All right, more breaking. It says Cole allegedly bought multiple items in 2019 and 2020 that were consistent with the components used to make the pipe bomb. Let's go.
aha moment to when you exercised the search warrants today. And obviously this happened on January 5th into January 6th. How should the public look at this case separate from all of the cases related to what transpired on January 6th and the president's subsequent pardons?
I'm going to let Director Patel take the evidence part. We have to be careful again. You've asked very good investigative questions, but this is ongoing, very active. But America should feel safer today. We say a pipe bomb. These are bombs. These were live, active bombs that were placed in Washington, D.C. Director.
Thank you. This shows you how much detail you and the American public have paid attention to this case. Of course, we analyzed everything that you're seeing on this poster board and information that you will see through the formal charging process and court process. But we want to let that evidence speak for itself because, again, we do not want to disrupt the accountability that we owe the American public. Yes, you heard about the cell phone tower data. Yes, you heard about, of course, we surveil individuals who we think we're going to blow up American citizens. But how and when we do it and why we do it is not something we're ever going to reveal unless the Department of Justice deems it fit at trial. So we appreciate your attention to detail and your hardcore investigative work, but you can just imagine some of those same skills are being utilized by this FBI, this Department of Justice, our partners, the ATF, and everybody across the board. And this is an interagency win for the American people.
Radar before.
Thank you all. And one more thing, this is the best birthday present I think Deputy Director Bongino could ask for today. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
So it seems as if Cash Patel and the FBI basically got their man, guys.
Well, as you just heard, it's
on
taken nearly
Let's
5
go.
years, but the FBI, along with Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, and everybody else involved there in the manhunt, says they finally found their guy. He's 30-year-old Brian Cole Jr. He was arrested early this morning in
Brian
connection
Cole
to
Jr.,
the pipe bombs
30
placed
years
at the
old.
Republican and Democratic national committees hours just ahead of the insurrection that took place on our Capitol. For more, let's bring in our Bureau managing editor here in D.C., Catherine Falders, also our senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang. They've been following and listening as well as we work to get our Pierre Thomas, Chief Justice correspondent, who actually was there in the room asking questions of the Attorney General. But Catherine, let's start with you. Clearly, they're proud of this mission, proud that they got their guy. What more are we learning about Cole, only 30 years old?
Yeah, so we don't know too much about him yet regarding the motive, for example. But what officials really focused on during that press conference was the amount of evidence that they had to go through. Now, they did specifically say that there was no new evidence and no new tip that came in, but that they analyzed and continue to investigate all of that evidence that they've already gathered. Now, they also said that this is an ongoing investigation. They continue to investigate. What do they mean by that? That's because, of course, they are executing search warrants on the suspect's home currently, likely his workplace, his vehicle, for example, we're told. So they're gathering more of that evidence that they haven't been able to get yet until today, potentially, to see if that leads to down any other avenues. Now, we did hear from the U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C. You're playing her there, Janine Pirro. She said,
"Thank you for the
this
gift,
is like
Ona.
finding a needle in a haystack." She said something quite notable that I just want to point out. A very interesting statistic. She talked about black caps, which are those caps that are typically placed on the end of bombs. She said that the FBI went through 233,000 black caps of the type that were used in this case to try and narrow this down. That means going through all of the purchases of those particular caps around the country in order to go through this evidence. So there's still a lot that needs to be answered. How they exactly got to this point, Pierre Thomas, as you note, asked a great question in that press conference. What was the point? What was the aha
Hey, Miss
moment?
Serene.
There appears to have been one, according to Deputy Director Dan Bongino, but they obviously wouldn't reveal that because this is still an active investigation. Janine Pirro said that their investigation didn't stop there when they believed that they had the suspect identified.
And Catherine, I just want to focus on FBI's Deputy Director Dan Bongino for a minute, because he and others investigating the suspect called the pipe bomb a conspiracy theory in the past, and we worked to get that sound. Let's take a listen.
Folks, I'm telling you what happened. There is a massive cover-up
because the person who planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it was because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or this was an inside job. Those bombs were planted there. This was a setup. I have zero doubt.
What do you think of these comments by Bongino? Could it compromise this investigation in any way?
Yeah, it was just one guy so far.
Depends what we learned that the motive was. Obviously, you didn't hear any of those comments from Bongino today, but you're right. He's called this I'm looking at some of his quotes right now, the biggest scandal of our time. He's obviously said that they're planted there. He's previously called this a quote unquote fake bomb plot. So it will be interesting to see how these comments that Bongino previously made come into play when this case gets underway in court. I think we'll be hearing more about that when this defendant, when the suspect Brian Cole Jr. makes his initial appearance in DC District Court either today or tomorrow, sometime this week. I think we can expect to see him. But I'm glad you played those quotes from the deputy director, because given he had such a big role, it would appear from what the officials said from behind the podium, had a big role in the investigation. He also has made quite a bit of public comments on the topic, none of which you will hear now, because the question is, does he still feel that way or not?
Got it. As we wait for our Pierre Thomas to get seated, he was there in the room when the press conference took place at the Department of Justice. Let's head over to the White House where Selena Wang is. I'm sure, actually, I don't know. The President Trump was over at another event, actually, and surprisingly didn't take any questions. Maybe it's because he didn't want to overshadow what was happening at the DOJ, Selena. But are you hearing from anybody there at the White House about the fact that the FBI now has found their guy?
Yeah, Kira, there was actually, as you say, a simultaneous presidential event as this presser was under the way. The president was speaking at this peace signing ceremony with the head of the DRC and Rwanda. But the White House so far is referring all questions to the Justice Department. It was interesting in that press conference to hear the officials thank President Trump's efforts to make DC safe as an impetus for them diving and continuing to investigate this case. We didn't hear any connections between this case and the January 6th attack on the Capitol. But let's remember the context here is that one of the first official acts from President Trump in his second term was to issue that full sweeping unconditional pardon to some 1,500 defendants who were charged on that Capitol, on that January 6th attack on the Capitol. And the president has really tried to rewrite the history of that day, calling it a day of love.
I agree with
hard
London.
to overstate the gravity of the criminal
I
conduct
agree with
that
you,
was
dog. It
pardoned
is crazy,
by the
man.
president. As a reminder,
I agree with him. He say, man, all this is fishy. We may never know the truth. It is kind of fishy to me. It took 5 years for him to find this guy. You know, he had on a mask. He had on a gray hoodie, you know, pulled up over his head. You couldn't see his face. He had gloves on. They didn't recover fingerprints, but according to my people, they're saying that he was found basically by his license plate. His license plate was taken into the database or whatever, and they basically just looked him up using a camera footage that was along the highway or a place somewhere where they were able to get footage of his license plate, and that's how they track Cole down. Basically, is what I'm getting.
Included those who are convicted of carrying out vicious assaults against the police, using everything from batons to stun guns, a fire hydrant, bats, hockey sticks. Law enforcement who testified at trial repeatedly destroyed.
See, this is what he had on right here. This is him. Gloves, a hoodie, and mask, guys. But they were still able to find him, even though he was that careful, by camera footage of his license plate. And when they went to his home, they found things that were consistent with making pipe bombs, basically the ones that were planted, you know, in DC. This is crazy, y'all. They found them. That's what they saying.
The war zone. And the language in
There
that
go those
pardon
tennis
was
shoes.
extraordinarily broad. It said that all of individuals pardoned would, quote, who were, quote, convicted of offenses related to events that occurred at or.
And he had the shoes. They saying that these shoes were the same identical shoes that were worn by the suspect, guys. They found in this guy's house. So after all of this time, he still kept those shoes. I would have threw those shoes away, burnt them up, anything, buried them in the backyard. Those shoes would have never been found again. But hey, they got the shoes too.
near the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. Now, when the officials during that press
And then there go the pipe bombs, you know, the same kind that were found from that the suspect planted.
briefing was asked about any connection between what happened with the laying of these pipe bombs and January 6th. We didn't get any answers from those officials, but that is certainly going to be something that people will continue to watch very closely.
All right. We now have our Pierre Thomas, Chief Justice correspondent. He was there in the room. He was able to get some questions to the Attorney General Pam Bondi as this news was breaking. So, Pierre, I guess we're wondering if we have learned anything more about this 30-year-old suspect, Brian Cole Jr. Was he acting alone? Were there others involved? What did you get out of the press conference besides the breaking news that the FBI got their guy?
Well, they are suggesting that this man acted alone. They're saying that the investigation is ongoing. And what I could glean from a press conference that was somewhat light on details is the following, that the cell phone tower information played a role in terms of trying to narrow down who the suspect probably was. Also, that there was information from the devices themselves, the blasting cap, the pipe itself, the batteries. They apparently went through hundreds, if not thousands, of transactions and seemed to have come to the conclusion that this particular suspect bought the items that were used to make the bombs. That's the primary takeaway I have from this press conference. And I do think
Let's go, hot
while
mess.
there were a lot of victory laps going on, the one thing that does come across here is just how complicated and challenging this case was, in that the suspect had a hood, was wearing gloves, was wearing a mask at the time, which, you know, a lot of people just walked by this person and didn't pay much attention to that because, Kira, as you recall, this was during COVID, where it was not unusual to see people walking around with masks at all. And as a consequence, one of the difficulties they found was that, you know, this person didn't really stand out to a number of people. So this has been, again, almost 5 years in the making of an investigation, and we'll see as the evidence unfolds how strong it actually is and whether they can get a conviction.
All right, Pierre, Selena, Catherine, thanks to all of you.
All right, so that was that, you know, on the pipe bomber, and basically the things they used in order to be able to find out who he is, guys. We got one more story to get to. It's the situation in Stockton, guys. A lot of y'all may have heard about the situation that took place in Stockton at a kid's birthday party where 3 children were unalived as well as 1 adult. They're calling it targeted attack, and that it was basically gang violence, guys. They have since came out, because this is an update to the people that's be here all the time. They have came out and identified the lot of the people who were hurt as far as the lives lost in that whole situation. Let's check that out real quick. Yeah, let's go here.
Last 2 days, that's really been the burning question, is why did something like this happen, and how could somebody do this at a child's birthday party of all places? But another resounding message from the community over that time has been the importance of remembering the young lives that were lost here and the many others that are still recovering. That's been reflected in this growing memorial that's grown in size each time that we've been back since Saturday. You can see well over 24 candles placed out here, several bouquets of flowers.
Children should never be caught up, guys, in adult situations, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that these babies that were involved in this, that basically got unalived, were not gang members or any of the criminal activities that were going on that led to their demises, guys. It's very sad. Prayers for the families.
Teddy bears for the children that were impacted by this, and we've seen several people stopping by each day that we've been out here as well. And in that time, we've also learned a lot more about the 4 young lives that were lost. Over a dozen people were shot, as we know, killing the 4 people you see here on your screen.
Those are the people that were hurt, guys, unalive.
And a 21-year-old. All the family.
Maya Lupin, Journey Rose, Amari Peterson, and Susano, whatever his name is. This is the 21-year-old man that was unalive. This is very sad, guys. Very sad. They also held a press conference today that I'm gonna get to right after this. You know, I just wanted y'all to see these little ones, man, and just know, you know, you can look at them and tell, man, they're babies. They had nothing to do with anything illegal, any kind of gangs, any of that. They did not deserve basically what happened to them, man. Prayers to their family.
Friends who love and miss them greatly and have been sharing more about them in the days following the shooting. This is 8-year-old Maya Lupien. The Central Valley branch of Aspire Public Schools says she was a member of the Apex Academy in Stockton, and her family says she excelled in academics. She loved her extracurriculars, and in her free time, she loved to dance, sing, and draw. This is 8-year-old Journey Rose Rio Tutar Guerrero. She was a third grader at Commodore Stockton Skills School in the Stockton Unified School District. Her mother is also a teacher within the district, but at a different school, and says her daughter was curious. She had a gentle soul and touched every heart that she came in contact with during her 8 years. And she loved art, crafting, baking, and gymnastics as well. This is 14-year-old Amari Peterson. This week, our Rowena Shaddix was able to sit down with several of his family members, including his mom and dad, some of his siblings, as well as coaches, each of them describing him as a star basketball and football player who, even just being in 8th grade, was already looking into options for college and was just really loved and admired by everybody that knew him, and that he was still so humble. His sister KK was also shot on Saturday night, but survived her injuries. And this is the oldest victim, still just 21 years old. Susano Archuleta, another victim loved by so many friends and family here in the Stockton community. And the total number of victims has climbed to 17 after the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office confirmed 2 more victims took themselves to the hospital on Monday for graze wounds caused by bullets at Saturday's shooting. As the search for suspects continues, the Sheriff's Office and other agencies say getting information from everyone involved in the case has really become a challenge here. To try and help that case move forward, the FBI is still offering a $50,000 reward, and $25,000 more dollars in reward money has also been set up through Crime Stoppers for any tips that help lead to an arrest through that platform. That's a combination of $10,000 from the nonprofit, $10,000 matched from Stockton Mayor Christina Fugazi, and $5,000 from Councilwoman Mariela Ponce. And another reminder that tips to Crime Stoppers can also be submitted anonymously. That's something that we've heard the Sheriff's Office as well as city leaders here in Stockton reiterate each time, hoping that maybe somebody that's afraid to come forward with information, that's an avenue to go about it, to still be able to protect your identity in this case. And something else I also want to mention is that for many of the victims that lost their life in the Saturday shooting, GoFundMe pages have been set up. We have several of those linked on our website, fox48.com, where if you are interested in donating and supporting the funeral arrangements and the
I got the press conference coming up next where they disclose those details.
Knowing it's a verified page, or simply share it, which several families have said will also help them through this time. Reporting live in Stockton this morning, covering local news matters, Chloe Curtis, Fox 40.
All right, so that was a little bit of the updates as far as the lives that were lost, guys. I see some of y'all down there saying that the father was potentially a gang member, allegedly. I see Alan Wayne says he got the whole party shot up because of his mouth. Wow. It was kids there. I wouldn't have cared what he said. Nobody should be firing weapons in the facility of children, no matter what's being said, in my opinion. I'm just saying. Yeah, very sad, guys. Okay, they gave us updates today. They did a press conference, guys, on the whole situation. Let's see if they have found any suspects or, you know, any leads to any suspects. I mean, this has been all over social media as well. You know, that's how a lot of people found out, you know, what was going on as far as it being gang related or a targeted attack, guys. Yeah, it's crazy, y'all. Here go the city officials, guys, of Stockton, basically giving a press conference and updating the public on what they are able to, what they know about this whole situation. Let's go here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Christina Fugazi. I'm the mayor of Stockton. And today we have come together to look at ways that we can make tragedies that happen this week an anomaly. It isn't easy to take the journey of getting out of something like this, but all of the young people behind me, they want more for our city. They want more for their peers, and they want more for the city of Stockton. I'd like to first introduce Destiny Rivas. She is the Native Center Director.
Machushkosh, Kanye Destiny Rivas. Welcome everybody, my name is Destiny Rivas. I run the Native American Indian Center, and we wanted to start this moment as a moment to acknowledge the land. When there is such tragedy, it's nice to know where we come from. And this land was inhabitants of the Yokuts and the Miwok people who've been displaced. And we wanted to take that moment to also acknowledge that there's so many Native American people still here and still on this land and still working with these communities. And they are some of our youth that are behind us that need hope and need power and need the idea that there's going to be something better out there for them. So I thank the mayor for inviting Native American community to be part of these conversations and then to also bring some hope for our youth. So I appreciate all that you guys do and all that you do for our community. I'd like to take the minute to introduce Josh Faraday from the California Chief.
Oh man, this is crazy, y'all. Hold on real quick. Let me stop there real fast. This is crazy, y'all. Not only, because I'm going to come right back to this. Not only did the mass shooting occur, man, Stockton is out of control because there was a woman that was unalive in a drive-by. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Right after this, check this out.
Morning, what I can tell you of Julia Sanchez has a lengthy criminal history. You may actually remember her name here because this case dates back to just recent years, that is. But let's go back to Monday's drive-by shooting because it was happening Monday night. That's when deputies with the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office responded to the 700 block of Gertrude Avenue. Now, when deputies arrived, they had found two people shot. They were taken to the hospital where one of the victims of Julia Sanchez later died. Now, keep in mind, Sanchez is the same woman who live streamed the aftermath of a crash that ultimately killed her sister near Los Banos back in 2017. At one point, showing her 14-year-old sister's dead body during that live stream as well. I remember this story. Here's how Sanchez described.
Y'all remember that story? I remember this story. They were driving fast or something like that, and she live streamed the whole situation in which they wound up having a wreck. And her sister passed away. I remember this. Now she is a victim of a drive-by shooting, and basically she has passed away. This is crazy.
Describes her actions in a 2017 interview while she was serving time at the Merced County Jail.
I didn't even know I looked like a monster. Like, I looked like a freaking horrible monster. That was not my intention at all.
Now, after being convicted, she did face several charges, including vehicle manslaughter, driving while intoxicated, among other charges as well. She only served 2 years behind bars before being released. Now, I want to take you out here live. Going back to Monday's night's drive-by shooting, I did reach out to the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office to get more clarity on this drive-by shooting, including whether there's any suspect details at this time and the latest condition of that second shooting victim. We have yet to hear back. Of course.
Wow, and if my memory serves me correctly, didn't she leave the scene when it happened to her sister? I think she left or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong because this happened a little bit ago, but I think she left. I reported on this when it first happened. Man, that's crazy. Wasn't heavily into the news around that time. Yeah, man, I thought so, man. Only 2 years. Yeah, that's crazy, y'all. Yeah, yes, sir. I thought so, Ballin. I thought, she left her sister there. Took off. That's crazy.
This is a developing story, and we will keep you posted on the air and online at fox40.com. That's the very latest. We're live this morning outside the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office, covering local news.
I said I could be wrong.
I'm Tony Salas.
I said I could have been wrong. Don't get it twisted. But yeah, man, I most definitely remember reporting on this story when it first happened. No, she didn't leave the car; it was destroyed. That's what 502 says. Anyway, just a tidbit, of more information of things that are taking place in Stockton. Man, Stockton is out of control. Wow. Let's get back to this live press conference. Well, this press conference conference that they gave in Stockton regarding the situation with the mass shooting.
Oh, we're going with Tim. I apologize. I'm going to back away.
She left the scene. I'm pretty violent. I know we usually be on point, but if we not, it's okay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Josh Friday, and I'm the director.
What's up, Pressure?
Service and Community Engagement in the Governor's Office and the State's Chief Service Officer. And let me just start out by saying and acknowledging, I think, what we're all experiencing, which is, as a father, it's hard to wrap your head around the tragedy that families and this community have experienced over this last week. And we're here today from the Governor's Office, standing with our partners, with Mayor Fugazi, with members of and leaders of this community, from the school district to our community colleges to our building trades, to listen and to learn and to talk about solutions, to talk about where we go from here, to talk about how do we continue to partner to provide opportunities for our youth, opportunities to have a future, opportunities of hope, opportunities to feel part of something bigger than themselves. And I am surrounded behind me by an unbelievable group of young people who represent what's possible, who represent what's possible when we invest in jobs and in service opportunities for people to give back to their community. These are young people who wake up every single day using their time and their passion and their energy to make this community better, and they represent what is possible when we invest in our youth.
Sir, let's get there's a whole moment the hell up out of here. We're not racist on this channel. Why you talking about blacks are out of control? No, sir. You and your guitar are out of control. Let's get you on a rocket ship right up out of here. We got another frequent flyer who most definitely can get up out of here. We'll holler at you, dog. You have officially been deported. You know what I'm saying? We do not do racism over here on this channel, talking about blacks are out of control. You and your broken guitar and your no playing guitar self is out of control. But we know how to control you by deporting you. We'll holler at you.
Youth. And we have to acknowledge that we are now living through a crisis. We are living through a crisis of connection in our society. And this past week, Stockton has felt the pain of that crisis. But Stockton's not alone. In California, there are now over 500,000 disconnected youth between the ages of 16 and 24. These are youth that are not in school and do not have jobs. And what do we know about youth who are disconnected? What we know is they are 3 times more likely to be involved in violence. What do we know when we create opportunity for youth to be connected, to have a job, to serve their community? We know that they are 43% less likely to be involved in violence if they're part of a teen summer program. We know that when you give a job, you give hope and you reduce violence. And so we are here today to highlight what is possible when you invest in this work. And over 5 years ago, Governor Newsom decided to create the California Service Corps, where we have now invested over $25 million into the Stockton community to create opportunities through our College Corps program, our Youth Service Corps program, our Climate Action Corps program, and our AmeriCorps programs to give young people the chance to serve their community. And what does this give? This is not just about a paycheck. This is about a path, and this is about purpose. We just heard this a few minutes ago. I heard this from Jamil. I heard this from Morgan, that these roles that these young people are in, it is about having a purpose, it is about having a community, it is about hope. It is about a future. It is about knowing that you have a place where you belong. That's the opportunity we have, and that's what we have to invest in. So we are here today, standing side by side with this community to say we are going to continue these partnerships. We are going to continue this work, and we have to do more. We have to do more to get out the word so people know that these paid positions are available. make sure that young people know there is a path of purpose for them. And we have to do more to make sure that we are creating additional opportunities for everybody, everyone in this community. And that's why we're standing here today. So we are committed to continuing those partnerships. That's going to be partnerships between the state, between the local government, partnerships with our school districts, with our colleges, partnerships with our building trades and our other unions to create these kinds of opportunities. And so I want to bring up somebody right now who's one of our partners in making sure that young people do have a path of purpose and a path of opportunity. Tim Roberts, who represents the San Joaquin Building Trades. Tim, if you could come up and join us and talk about how we're partnering to provide solutions for our next generation. Thanks so much.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here today. My name is Tim Robertson. I'm Executive Director of the San Joaquin Building Trades Council. And we are here today to share about the work that we do helping engage youth in this community in union construction careers. We have a special opportunity in this community where we have really great careers in the union in construction with healthcare and pensions that are really accessible to anyone who's ready to show up on time and work hard. And we know we got a lot of people like that in the city of Stockton, including youth. Our MC3 Apprentice Readiness Program brings dozens to hundreds of individuals from a variety of backgrounds into strong, powerful careers in union construction every year. And we do that by building capacity for construction in these areas. So when we build here in San Joaquin County, we're able to leverage that in order to create new opportunities for not only youth, but for incarcerated individuals and other disinvested communities. We are proud of the work that we are already doing here in San Joaquin County, and we want to continue growing that. We do that by building work capacity. We're really proud of the partnership we have with Mayor Fugazi in the city of Stockton, with Stockton Unified, where we do a lot of outreach with the youth, and Delta College, who you're going to hear from in a moment, for community workforce agreements that we have to make sure that when we're building here, we're building with local union labor, and we're able to build the capacity in our apprenticeship programs and our apprenticeship readiness programs to fill those jobs with people that need them the most, like our youth. We're so proud of these programs and the investments that our public entities have made so far, and we're looking to do more. And we appreciate all you hearing about this and the way that we are going to continue to invest in these communities and help build careers for individuals that might not know these opportunities are out there. So really appreciate all your time today. With this, I want to pass it along to one of our biggest partners, the president and superintendent of San Joaquin Delta Community College, Dr. Lisa Lorenzen. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Lisa Aguilera Lorenzen. I have the pleasure of serving as the superintendent president of San Joaquin Delta College. And I'm always delighted to talk about what we do in the community college and the partnerships that we have here in the city of Stockton. I do want to definitely mention that through our nonprofits, through our partnerships with the local trades, with all of our partners, Stockton is a strong community. Stockton is connected. Stockton cares about its people, and Stockton is ready to help the youth to improve their lives and improve the lives of their families. San Joaquin Delta College is definitely committed to doing that through our apprenticeship programs. We have paid internship programs. We have dual enrollment to try to reach students early in their educational careers before they might fall off and go down a bad path. We want to let youth know right away, we're here to serve them and that we can help them find their passion and find a way to contribute to the community and meet the labor market needs of this area. We're proud that we get to. So I'm just wondering, how does this relate back to Saturday?
There we go. Now they asking the questions. Hold up.
Heard is
all right. Now they're updating us on what they know and what they don't know. Let's go here. Hold on.
Hundreds of other young people who have taken part in these programs. Since California has continued to invest in the California.
Talking about investing.
That's a fact.
I heard they just asked him, how does this go with what happened on Saturday?
Yeah. What we heard was hope. What we heard was young people who are involved and connected to a job in a service program, who feel like they have a future, who feel like and know that they matter because they're waking up every single day, that when you give somebody a job,
let's go right here.
To continuing these programs and to say to everyone, we have to expand them, we have to do more.
Last question. I just want to clarify a little bit more with the elaborate but more wide programs you are promoting them today, especially in the wake of Saturday's tragedy. Earlier, you said that these programs are helping uncover tomorrow. So I'm just wondering, how does this relate back to Saturday's tragedy? You say that it was because one type of people here in Stockton got led to what happened on Saturday?
No, I didn't say that at all.
Could you elaborate a bit more as to what these programs are being?
I'll go ahead and take that question. I'll field that question. So I've got 31 years in education. Some of my students are out here in the audience. They're filming, and I have some that are behind me. They were the ones that had somebody to connect with. When we look at the tragedy on Saturday, we had babies that were shot. Do we know the ages of the people who did this? We don't. But what we do know is that here in the city of Stockton, we have a number of, I was gonna say our youth, but it's generational. We have a number of people that are not connected. They're connected to a very small group, but they're not connected to the larger community. So when we're looking for solutions as to what happened Saturday night, it has to do with people feeling that they have opportunities. It has to do with them thinking they can have a job and having that, which is why, with the building trades, I've really pushed, and Steve Large can tell you this, I'm really pushing to bring shipbuilding back to Stockton, because that's 8,000 to 10,000 jobs. So these students won't be competing with their parents for jobs at Taco Bell. That they will be able to have these good paying jobs that will lift them up out of poverty, allow them to go into home ownership, and to create generational wealth. But on top of that, talking about working locally, the building trades, they did our McKinley Park revitalization, they did our Victory Park pool and basketball court. Those were done by people who live in our community, who were able to drive their kids by after school and say, look what mommy is doing in the city of Stockton. We have 100,000 cars a day go over the hill. Kids are having to get themselves up in the morning to get to school. They come home and there's nobody home. By the time parents come home, they're tired, which is why IYT is so important, because they're providing that mentorship after school. So kids aren't being raised by the streets, because that's what's happening. You have as young as 11 years old that we know this year that were part of a shooting that had a gun. We need to get those guns out of their hands, and we need to have them in programs. They're going to help elevate them in a positive direction. They have to know that there is a pathway there for them. They have to be able to see someone like themselves that has made it. And there's a young man back here that said, hey, I didn't do great in school. And guess what? I went to Delta College. I figured out what I wanted to do. And then I want to give back to my community. Another young man said that he wasn't, he was in the criminal pathway. We want to end the school to prison pipeline. And he was given an opportunity, a mentorship, and he's turned his life around. We need that for all of our kids, but we need to get to them now. We can't wait. So I know that might not be a direct answer to your question, but it's what's needed in the city of Stockton. And I've seen it firsthand with my 31 years in education, where kids have had the opportunities and have been able to lead that life that is only bringing negative things to our city.
And Mayor Fugazi, was this a meeting of your entities here that was scheduled prior to the shooting, or did this all come together in the wake of the shooting? Because this is all so positive, no doubt about it. This is all unarguably very positive, but specifically on your office, sir, Mr. Friday's news release that was sent out to the media in the wake of the recent tragedy, state and Stockton leaders come together to promote positive pathways to support safe, thriving communities. I'm just wondering, is this a meeting that you all had planned prior to the shooting? And I think a lot of us are probably grappling with, we now know that this is officially a gang-related shooting. That's what it's being called by the DA's office, the sheriff's office, you have even called it a gang-related shooting. How do we get the positive things that are happening here to prevent gang violence? Is the governor's office addressing the gang violence component of it? A lot of questions I think the community is grappling with, and we're getting them. We're here. We were invited to come here, so that's why we're asking you on behalf of the public.
So the long and the short of it is the governor called me on Saturday night and said, how can I help? And I said, I need long-term investment in our youth. I have already worked with Josh, Mr. Friday, and he says, I want to expand. He mentioned about businesses. I said, let's do a work study program like they have in college, but for our high schoolers where they are working in businesses, and we have that paid by somebody other than the business, because that's a win-win-win all the way around. But in light of what happened, in light of the tragedy on Saturday, I said, each and every elected official, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter to me. We need to come together. We need to find solutions, and we need to do it now. We cannot wait. So Mr. Friday said, I'm there. Let's go. I'm going to come to Stockton. We're going to talk about this. We're going to have a listening session. We're going to make sure that we are putting the resources where they need to be, and we're reaching those in our community that need it the most.
Does that include a gang prevention component?
We have that. It's called Office of Violence Prevention, and I shared with them just the other night. We had a call in, and we had young people around the table, the same table that they sat out at this morning, that were looking at counseling, opportunities, getting a different choice than what they are doing right now. So if that is getting them boots, getting them transportation to work, helping them get that job, providing them and their families with the resources that they need in order to make that positive choice to better themselves.
Great, thank you. That's all. Thank you so much.
All right, so I guess that's all the details that they were given, basically with the Stockton situation. They feel like, they need to provide more jobs and things of that nature to kind of curb the violence that is going on there, guys. Yeah, we most definitely are at the end of this show, but I will be back at 10 p.m. tonight, guys, Central Standard Time. Make sure you pull up where I will be talking about and present videos of a Texas A&M female student, guys, that allegedly fell to her passing away. I'm gonna say it like that. Y'all know YouTube is sensitive. So basically passed away, and they're calling it very suspicious, guys. They have released more details on this situation. Yeah, basically they're trying to say that basically somebody must have done it to her, guys, and that it wasn't an accident. They have most definitely been covering it everywhere. I haven't got to it yet, but I will get to it tonight. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn your notification bells to all so you don't miss it. It will be at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, so make sure y'all pull back on me. We'll get into the details of that situation right there involving the Texas A&M female student, that was potentially unalived after a tailgate party. This is crazy, y'all. It's just so much that goes on in the news, from politics to local news to world news. It's a lot going on, man, and it is very important that you stay up to date with everything that is going on, and I am most definitely here to keep us in the loop on everything that's going on around us. If you have not double tapped that screen, please do so now. It helps out the channel. Most definitely hit that like button. That's how you hit the like button on your mobile device. Or you can click the three dots in the right hand corner, and hit that thumbs up. That's another way to hit the like button. Or and make sure that you're subscribing to the channel if you are new. Yeah, it most definitely caught my attention, guys, with this situation, as well as a lot of the situations that I reported on today. We had Trump basically brokering or getting a deal signed in Africa to stop some of the violence over there. They've been battling for years. He got them to sign a peace deal. Pam Bundy and Cash Patel and the DOJ basically arrest the DC pipe bomber, after 5 years. They put their heads together and all of the intel they had and made an arrest in that case. And as well as I just gave y'all the press conference from Stockton, where 4 people were unalive, 14 were injured, guys. 4 passed away, 3 children and 1 adult, man. It's crazy, guys. This world has just really gone mad. Shout out to my old subscribers. Shout out to all of my new subscribers. Shout out to my members. If you are interested in getting a membership to this channel and checking out some of the members only content, there is plenty there. All you have to do is go to the description box of any video you find on this channel. There's a link you can click on that'll take you to where you can grab you a membership, guys. $5, same price as a bag of chips, man, for primetime entertainment. I'm just saying, you can't beat it. So if you're looking for a membership, you most definitely can get it that way. Shout out to all of my members. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to my moderators. I most definitely appreciate y'all for keeping this chat running smooth, guys. You never know who we have to deport. Stupid comments will get you deported on this channel. Racism will get you deported on this channel. We don't do none of that, man. What kind of human kids party? That's what I said, Steve. It's just crazy, man. Prayers for those families, man, of those kids. I don't care what the adults have going on. The kids had nothing to do with that. They are innocent in all of this, man, and it is very sad and a tragic situation what took place in Stockton, man. Most definitely prayers for them. But like I always do, it's time for me to make my grand exit. So Sidewalk Gang, checking out. Make sure y'all pull up on me at 10 p.m. I will be presenting everything that I'm able to find on this Texas A&M situation with this cheerleader. That's what she looked like. She appeared to be / student at Texas A&M that was unalive after a tailgate party, guys. You don't want to miss it, so make sure you pull back up on me. I'm most definitely be back. Shout out to all of y'all. Y'all stay safe out there. I'm gone, man. I catch y'all on the next one. Shout out to the mods and shout out to the Sidewalk. We out of here.